Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
And I remember to turn my microphone on. Hey, everybody. Good morning, Rabbit. And welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where every day is my birthday. See, because, well, today's the last show before my actual birthday. Because I'm going to be gone Thursday. But hey, the Cash App and Venmo links are still in the description. No, hey, I'm kind of celebrating my birthday today, even though it's April 1st. I'm not an April Fool. I'm an April 4th. So, and, people last week were asking, are you a Pisces? I'm like, no, I don't. What's a Pisces? Oh, that calendar thing. No, I'm an Aries, which means I'm a Ram. And, I'm kind of bullheaded like the Tauruses and stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It is Monday, the 1st of April, 2024. Rabbit's in the house, I see. But that's not how it goes. It's rabbit. But that's okay. We'll get there. I just, And also today, I highly encourage you to hijack the show because I went on the internet yesterday evening, right? And holy nutsack. It was a shit show and just so much stuff going on. Now, and there's things that people are, annoyed about, but things that just have been happening for years that people are like losing their mind over. Just a little bit of time on the internet would have told you that if you take the time. Because now I'm at the point where I just got to look up everything. Because people just say some stupid shit. And so, and where is the bot thing working? What the hell's going on here? Let me see here. What the hell's going on? Anyway, so I do have articles for you today, and I've got, the usual stuff. But I'm annoyed, and I was trying to find some good April Fool's Days, articles. There's a couple out there, but I'm just like, who cares? Maybe my brain is in vacation mode. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I just need to take a day off. Well, I'm going to be taking 7 days off. Well, 8, because I'm not going to be back till Tuesday, so I'll miss that show too. But I'm due. I just do. And especially after getting on the internet yesterday. So I appreciate the fact that you got on the internet today, even though I said, do not open the internet today. AD made a perfectly good point. Well, if I don't open the internet, how am I supposed to get here? Well, apparently a lot of you read the thumbnail before I said it. Did I even put this out on X? I don't even think I did I? I'm not with it today. So anyway, welcome to the show. I appreciate you showing up. And maybe I'll just retweet. Does anyone else put the show out? No one even else put the show out either. It's just one of those days. Just one of those days. Just like Limp Bizkit would say. It's one of those days. And I'm having it. So anyway, I am glad I'm glad those of you are here though. If someone wants to tweet out the show, I'll retweet you. How's that sound? So 15 people, 6 likes, hit the like button during the show, share the stream, and live in glory. I tell you. All right. Let's just get it started. First, I'll say hi to everybody, and we'll just I'll give you what I got. Okay, how's that sound? I just give you what I got. All right. So first in the chat today, over on Rumble, is Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell, if it works. Yay! And his theme song, and that's the only person on Rumble. I'm trying to figure that out. The speaking of hijack, thank you, DB Cooper, first sponsor of the day. DB Cooper, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. DB Cooper says, hijack. Okay, I have a gun. Land this plane and get me $1 million sent to me on the tarmac, take off and level off at 15,000 feet and pay attention to what I am doing. Yes, you got to pay attention to DB Cooper every time he comes near a plane. I appreciate you, DB Cooper. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And there you go. Now you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. So far, all you got to do is have the biggest donation of the day is to buy the Superstar sponsor of the day. That would be DB Cooper. I have a feeling I know DB Cooper's alter ego. Over on Rumble, of course, it's the first of the month, and you're supposed to say rabbit, rabbit. The first thing the first words out of your mouth of the day, the first of the month should be rabbit, rabbit. And it's supposed to bring you good luck for the month. My drama teacher in high school used to tell me that. She used to tell everybody that. And I didn't know that was actually a thing until some people started making a trend on the internet, on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And it is trending today. And Rabbit says, I came, I saw, the thing.
You're a line dog.
That thing. Hey, Mike Savage blog on Rumble. So, and then, oh my gosh, I should probably tweet out the show. Nobody's doing it for me, so I'll just do it myself. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna do this. I'm not even gonna put this. I'm just gonna put this. Copy or X. We'll copy that out. We'll paste it here, and then we'll share. Is streaming live now. There we go. All right. And then we'll put YouTube and Rumble, because I'm sure some people don't even know we're running the show today. Some people probably thought I was going on vacation today, but I didn't do that. So, all right, let me say hi. Okay, just get done with this, Marty. Come on, fix your shit. There we go. All right, there we go. I'm feeling better. I'm not even gonna put. That's it. I'm just putting that. But if you don't, the only good thing about this show today, so far, is that you are here. That's one. Well, there's two things: that you're here, and then the thumbnail. Because I'm sure people will get bent out of shape over my thumbnail, and Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't care. So there you go. Should I put this on locals? I'll put it on locals too. I don't think anyone follows. Does anyone pay attention to me on locals at all? Anybody? Does anybody at all? I always curious. What is that? What is that thing up there? Oh. Okay, I'll figure that out in a second. Let me say hi to everybody. Just do this real quick. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. I got a little extra time today anyway, because seeing as I am not. Since I'm going on vacation, I just, there we go. Locals is published. All right, I feel better about life. All right, real quick. Thank you, John Ardot, dropping a $5 on YouTube. Thank you very much. With no message, just a $5 on YouTube, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Also, good morning, Green Badger Outdoors on Rumble. Okay, the rest of y'all on YouTube and chat, Avocados Diabli is here. Somehow beat himself to the punch. And then good morning also Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, Mike Savage, Blarg, Zed the Snarky, Kara Soldier, Simon Wilkins, Hotep Dutch, welcome back. Nice to see you here, fam. Good morning also Tyler F. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning also Anonymity. T2, I'll be back. John Arnott. Did I say John Arnott already? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Also, good morning, Willie. What up? Good morning, Those Ain't Real Dude. Frank Cap's in the house. Well, John Arnott did the super chat, so I appreciate that. So there you go. Wait, oops, I mean pay no attention. Pay attention. What? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, pay no attention. You said pay no attention. Wait, what? Anyway. All right. Let me close these windows. Maybe see if I need to check anyone's. Oh, there are people sending out the show themselves. Thank you, Sound Humble Nation, for tweeting out the show. And Rumble Videos retweeted my post. I'll be damned. Now, I don't, like, they only have 95 followers, though. Anyway, so hi. I hope you're happy here. Let's get started with the show. Trending on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. Rabbit's trending. Now, this is interesting because, like I said, I didn't think anyone knew what rabbit meant. But there are other people who know this. That actually, on Good Morning America, they said something about it. What does this say? Let's see what this says. Play.
April 1st, Rabbit. Back with our GMA cover. It's like you do that to wish good luck on the first day.
See? I'm not the only one. I thought it was just me. Real Weight Nation. Good morning, sir. Nice to have you here. See? Robin Givens. Is that her name? No, not Robin Givens. Robin Roberts. Robin Givens is Mike Tyson's crazy ex. Oh. No, Robin Roberts. I met Robin Roberts when I was on Good Morning America back in 2000 and what year was that? 2006, I think I was at Good Morning America. If you haven't seen my Good Morning America gig, my Linktree page is in the description, and if you go on my Linktree page, it lists all my different, social media, whatever, and also a link to when I was on Good Morning America back in 2006. If you haven't seen that story, also the GQ story's in there, so you can check that out. So, thank you, Zed the Snarky, dropping a big bullet in the hip jar, and Zed the Snarky, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Another no message donation. I appreciate you though. Thank you very much. And then also, I think why isn't Streamlabs working? The Streamlabs bot's not working. Anyway, I'll tell you what, if you want to hijack the show, drop your own article for me to read, or a special, you want special attention, drop a Hamilton and a link to the article you want me to read, and you can put that in the via Streamlabs. Only in Streamlabs does it work, because you can't really put links in the YouTube Super Chats or Rumble Rants. But if you do it in Streamlabs, we will hijack the show. I will immediately stop what I'm doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to, and read the story you give me. Okay, somebody name what I just quoted there. If you can name what I just quoted there, I am very, very impressed. Okay, let's move on. So, Rabbit is trending. Who is that? What is this? Anyone know what this actress's name is? She's just cute. Very good, Somnambule Nation. Humpty Dance, very good. All right, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny, but y'all making money. See? All right, I messed up. So you gather around for me. I'm getting around. I'm the new fool in town, and the track laid down by the underground. I drink up all the Hennessy I put on the shelf. Drink up all the Hennessy you put on the shelf. Just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty, pronounced with an umpty. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, the Humpty Dance, yes. Very good. All right, moving on. Let's see. This is going to be one of those shows that just seems totally discombobulated. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood and Amazing Disgrace. What up? All right. Today, the special day. Actually not a special day. It's National Assistant Principals Week. I cannot believe it. Is anybody celebrating Happy National Assistant Principals Week? Anybody? There's a joke in there somewhere, but I just can't figure it out. But somebody here wrote this little this thing. This is someone named Principal Cafele, who says, on the first day of Assistant Principals Week, let me holla at the assistant principals out there. First and foremost, let me personally thank you and salute you for what you do. As I am writing, I am reflecting upon my short stint as AP. And I probably worked harder than I ever did as an educator during that time. The long hours coupled with the emotional toll of the work was often draining. I know that there are many of you out there who can relate. It just comes with the territory in so many places. On this first day of Assistant Principals Week 2024, I want to be the one to say that you are appreciated for the work that you do. Your role is so vital to the progress and overall success of your school. On those inevitable days when you're down and even asking yourselves, did I make the right decision? Or how much longer can I endure this? Or does it even matter? Do know that you are not alone. The role of the assistant principal is not typically an easy role, but is quite necessary role. You made the right decision. You can handle it, and you matter. And that staff that you supervise needs you along with the students that you lead. And trust me when I tell you, when you're effective, the principal and the school shine brighter. You matter. Stay the course. Enjoy the week. And do know that there are countless people out here who are cheering for you this morning and throughout the week. So congratulations, all the assistant principals out there. Because diably, assistant principals don't do shit of importance. They assist. Okay, well, there you go. All right. Oh, there's the hijack the show link. There you go. You can hijack the show. We'll pin that one. All right. I had never heard of National Assistant Principals Week, but apparently there is one. All right, moving on. Also trending is Clint Eastwood. Now, Clint Eastwood is trending because yesterday, not today, but yesterday, March 31st, was Clint Eastwood's 93rd birthday. Holy smokes. I didn't realize he was that old. Well, I kind of guess I could have guessed he's that old. So a lot of people, if you drop a heart, if you're a fan of Clint Eastwood, yeah, do that. Hit that little heart thing. You know, the little heart thing. If you're a fan of Clint Eastwood on the YouTube chat, hit that little heart button and see and I want to see that. I want to see some hearts. I want to see your hearts on. Easy. Anyway, so Clint Eastwood, Hollywood legend. I don't remember what he was in 1949, but he's been in showbiz since 1949. That's a long damn time. And nothing like a good Clint Eastwood movie. Now, also Clint Eastwood is fairly famous for saying these words. One day we'll realize that the Barack Obama presidency was the biggest fraud ever perpetrated on the American people. Okay, do you agree? Okay, I don't know. Kind of. Anyway, and but there's the picture from when he was in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is probably one of the coolest westerns. He doesn't say much in that one, but he was looking awfully menacing the whole time. So there you go. Happy birthday to Clint Eastwood. 93 years old. Moving on. Also trending today, Easter Monday, and I'm going to talk about Easter in a minute because of some things, but Easter Monday is trending, and I'm not 100% sure. Look, yesterday was Easter for those of you who are the Christian faith. Obviously, you know that. I hope you had a wonderful Easter, but when you've had 3 days on the booze and the wife says she wants to spend Easter money at Garden Center, I don't know what that means. But a lot of people were just saying it's Easter Monday. Like this person has, what is this? I hope everyone had a great Easter celebration with family and friends. I sure did, maybe too much. I abstained from alcohol this Lent, so those 4 gin and club soda drinks hit me hard. I woke up with a hangover. One of the many reasons I don't drink, and when I do, I stick with gin, vodka, or tequila, which I approve for those. Okay, look, don't drink gin if you don't drink. Oh my God, this is on X here. I didn't have it on the screen, but there you go. Easter Monday's trending. I don't care. Let's move on. Also trending on X. Let's see, what was the next one? Oh, Dawkins is trending now. This is because of something Richard Dawkins said, I believe yesterday. And it was quite surprising to hear Richard Dawkins saying this because, you know, Richard Dawkins is famous UK biologist and writer, and very famous for being an atheist. But something he said yesterday on this LBC podcast was interesting because he's a very huge critic of a certain religion of peace. And so this was Richard Dawkins from the LBC podcast yesterday, talking about, I'll just let you play this. Here, I'll play the short Nope, I guess there's a long version. Here, let's just listen to Richard Dawkins for a second, because this was rather surprising. Most people are like, what? Richard Dawkins? I'm sure he pissed off plenty of atheists yesterday saying this, but here we go. And plus the left-wing atheists who always stand for, what do you call it? Islam? But whatever.
Well, I must say I was slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are
By the way, the reason he's saying this, in London, it's Easter Sunday, right? And usually there's, things around London decorated for Easter, whatnot. But this year, London in particular, had just tons of banners for Ramadan and all these different flags and different stuff for Ramadan. And so he's lamenting the fact that London was basically Ramadan Central yesterday.
Culturally a Christian country.
Let me go back this.
Hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer, but there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so, I love him.
That I'm sure just those words alone got people going.
And Christmas carols, and I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are a Christian country in that sense. It's true that statistically the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches. So I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it wouldn't matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
Well, which brings me to my supplementary point, which is that...
Okay, I'll just leave it at that. If you want to watch the rest, it'll be in the links today, but I'm not going to play the whole clip. But
as we know.
That was why it was significant and why Dawkins is trending. Real quick, thank you, Avocados Diabli, for sponsoring the show. And somehow, I don't know how this works, but a small bulletin tip jar, but you are also now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. You're tied with Zed the Starkey. Avocados Diabli says, I had an epiphany and realized why Easter is associated with bunnies. Who did Jesus hang out with? Whores. Who did Hugh Hefner hang out with? Whores. And what did Hugh call those whores? Bunnies. You may have a point there, sir. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you. By the way, good morning to Unacceptable Views and GDSOB. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. All right, moving on. Also trending, Havana syndrome. Now, this is one that I had never heard of. And some people are saying that this is a conspiracy theory. Some people are saying this is, some say it's real. And I don't know, but apparently yesterday on 60 Minutes, they did a big story for the first time. Here's the thing. In fact, let's see. I'll open the link here. Havana syndrome. Hang on, let me make this thing see it better. And that doesn't work. Here we go. Havana syndrome mystery continues as a lead military investigator says bar for proof was set impossibly high. So this is one of these things that I just never heard of this shit. But anyway, tonight, this is from 60 Minutes. I'll just give you the lead here. Tomorrow we have important developments in our 5-year investigation of mysterious brain injuries reported by U.S. national security officials. The injured include White House staff, CIA officers, FBI agents, military officers, and their families. Many believe that they were wounded by a secret weapon that fires a high-energy beam of microwaves or ultrasound. This is our 4th story, and for the first time, we have evidence of who might be responsible. You got to guess. If you didn't see this, you got to guess. Who's responsible? It shouldn't be hard to guess. Think Democrats and who they like to blame anything that's bad on. And it's not, except for Trump, someone other than Trump. Anyway, we have evidence who might be responsible. Most of the injured have fought for America, often in secret, and they're frustrated that the U.S. government publicly doubts that an adversary has targeted America. I forgot his album. You get the bell. Yes, it's the Russians. Of course it is. One of them is Carrie. We're disguising her and not using her last name because she's still an FBI agent working in counterintelligence. She says in 2021 she was home in Florida when she was hit by a crippling force, and bam, inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close to your eardrums, like it's like that, and times 10. It was like high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward at like a 45-degree angle this way. She says she was by a window in her laundry room. My right ear was line of sight to that window while this thing was happening to my ear. And when I leaned forward, it didn't knock me over, but it knocked me forward. Immediately I felt pressure, and pain started coursing from inside my right ear, down my jaw, and down my neck, and on my chest. So anyway, look, they disguised her. What? Is this her disguise? Are you serious? Wait a minute. So look, this disguise on 60 Minutes they use for Carrie here. You don't think that that any kind of facial mapping technology would recognize who Carrie is? Anyway, she said they say Carrie's story matches those we've uncovered over the years. There's several other people they got here, but they're saying that that Havana syndrome is something that the Russians might be doing. And so if you want to watch the 60 Minutes episode, it'll be in the link on here. So here's, let me go into what other people are saying about this, though, because there's a whole lot of different people talking about this. That's 60 Minutes version. Now, it's interesting because Stephen Miller here, he's a writer for Red State, for Red State. Obama made fun of Romney over Russia in 2012 on a debate stage. The media joined in. They all laughed off Obama's flexibility comments to Medvedev. And now here we are. Russia subverts American democracy, invaded Ukraine, and caused Havana syndrome all since then. And none of them will apologize for it. Well, that's what they say. Not this is not what Stephen says. But but remember, in 2012, Obama in that debate famously said, "Oh, the 80s calling, and the 80s are calling, and they want their foreign policy back." Then in 2016, they were saying Russia gave us Donald Trump. So anyway, other people saying stuff about this. What a pile of shit. Here are the stellar officers who all claim to have Havana syndrome. Mark Polymeropoulos, who claimed Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian plot. Miles Taylor, anonymous. Oliver Troya, Trump-hating Pence advisor. Mark Lindsay, guy who got Twitter to ban critics. And then Ian Miles Strong, who I'm not a fan of Ian Miles Strong, but 60 Minutes Pros to debunk conspiracy theory, Havana syndrome, that claims Russia is using invisible sci-fi energy weapons to give State Department staffers headaches and make them lazy so they can claim disability and not have to work. And of course, the Daily Krassenstein. What are the odds that Mega calls this Havana syndrome story fake news? To be fair, this is a story they should not have released hours before April Fool's Day. Well, yeah, they probably shouldn't have. Now, there was an article in the Washington Post back in 2023. Havana syndrome not caused by energy weapon or foreign adversary. Intelligence review finds. After years-long assessment, 5 U.S. intelligence agencies conclude that it's very unlikely an enemy wielding a secret weapon was behind the mysterious ailment. So, for whatever reason, 60 Minutes decided to highlight Havana syndrome. So again, I'll leave this link to the 60 Minutes story. You can, if you really want to watch it, you can. I may or may not watch the whole thing. I've just read parts of it. Also, finally, the other trending thing is, it is April Fool's Day. Now, unfortunately, I haven't really, oh my gosh, I didn't look at the Twitter feed on April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day should be declared Trans Day of Visibility. That would make perfect sense. Oh my God, that's rough. Hodge twins. Joe Biden legitimately won the 2020 election. It definitely wasn't rigged. J.K. Rowling. Replying to J.K. Rowling. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. What? April Fools. Wait a minute. What's this? Oh. Oh, no. She had to go there, too. She put a whole list of these. Scotland's Hate Crime Act comes into effect today. Women's gain no additional protections, of course. But well-known trans activist Beth Douglas, darling of the prominent Scottish politician, falls within a protected category. Oh, yeah. Now, she wishes this was April Fool's. Lovely Scottish lass and convicted double rapist Isla Bryson found her true, authentic female self shortly before she was due to be sentenced, misgendering as hate, so respect Isla's pronouns, please. Love the leggings. Fragile Flower, Katie Dulatowski, 6'5", was rightly sent to a women's prison in Scotland after conviction. This ensured she was protected from violent, predatory men, unlike the 10-year-old girl Katie sexually assaulted in a women's public bathroom. Samantha Norris was cleared of exposing her penis to two 11-year-old girls. Hooray! Unfortunately, she was then convicted of possession of 16,000 images of children being sexually abused. And be as it may, Sam's still a lady to me. Okay, she's just going through all these trans people that who've done some notorious things. Most women aren't axe toters or sex offenders, so let's talk the role models. Julia Valentino in Red wanted to play on the women's team because of sisterhood, validation, and political visibility. Naturally, she was given some boring cis girl's place. Yay for inclusion. Monroe Burdoff. Just as in a pretty phase, public campaigner for a children's charity until safeguarding concerns were raised, she was appointed to UN's UN Women's first ever UK champion. What makes a woman? A woman has no definitive answer, says Monroe. Great choice. Okay, these are all, she's going through all these ones, and then she finally finishes here. Only kidding. Obviously, people mentioned the above tweets aren't women at all, but men. Every last one of them. In passing the Scottish Hate Crime Act, Scottish lawmakers seem to have placed a higher value on the feelings of men performing their idea of femaleness, however misogynistically and opportunistically, than on the rights and freedoms of actual women and girls. The new legislation is wide open to abuse by activists who wish to silence those of us speaking out about the dangers of eliminating women and girls' single-sex spaces, the nonsense made of crime data if violent and sexual assaults committed by men are recorded as female crimes, the grotesque unfairness of allowing males to compete in female sports, the injustice of women's jobs, honors, and opportunities being taken by trans-identifying men, and the reality and immutability of biological sex. For several years now, Scottish women have been pressured by their government and members of the police force to deny the evidence of their eyes and ears, repudiate biological facts, and embrace neo-religious concept of gender that is unprovable and untestable. The redefinition of woman to include every man who declares himself one has already had serious consequences for women and girls' rights and safety in Scotland, with the strongest impact felt as ever by the most vulnerable, including female prisoners and rape survivors. It is impossible to accurately describe or tackle the reality of violence and sexual violence committed against women and girls, or address the current assault on women and girls' rights, unless we are allowed to call a man a man. Freedom of speech and belief are at the end in Scotland if the accurate description of biological sex is deemed criminal. I am currently out of the country, but if what I've written here qualifies as an offense under the terms of the new act, I look forward to being arrested when I return to the birthplace of Scottish enlightenment. If you agree with the views set out in this tweet, please retweet it. Wow! She went off. And then, Indian Willoughby calling everyone on this list a sex offender, excluding only himself, was the twist I didn't see coming. Indian Willoughby says, who's also one of these trans people on the list, a list of sex offenders and me. Wow. Hashtag hate crime. Wow. So, J.K. Rowling putting it out there, and then explained the April Fool's joke that she finished with. All right. How did I get to there? Oh, because April Fool's was trending. I'm going to give that one a separate link because that is quite the diatribe, and I think she's 100% right. That new Scottish women's rights, whatever that was, the bill, the Scottish Hate Crime Act, pretty much just changes that you can't misgender or whatever people who are trans identifying. And it's kind of fucked up. All right, let's move into some news. Now, this is breaking news, and I got to tell you, when I read the headline, I didn't know what to believe. Yes, we're talking about this one right here. We're talking about this one. Biden says his next SCOTUS nominee will be an illegal immigrant. I mean, undocumented. Oh. President Joe Biden on Monday reiterated his commitment to increasing the diversity of the United States Supreme Court. If given the opportunity to nominate another justice to our nation's highest court, or if I change my mind about expanding the court, my next nominee will be the first illegal immigrant ever nominated to this United States Supreme Court, Biden told reporters outside the White House in a rare back and forth with media. Sorry, I meant undocumented. The next Supreme Court justice on my watch will be an undocumented immigrant of color. Oops. The announcement echoes the pledges Biden made in 2020 when he vowed to choose a female running mate, and in 2022 when he vowed to nominate a black woman to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. Alas, diversity advocates have long complained that all members of the Supreme Court are citizens of the United States. Undocumented representation has on the Supreme Court has long overdue, said Cordelia Campos Patterson, assistant professor of Latinx studies at Yale University. How can we call ourselves a nation of laws when millions of non-citizens are denied the opportunity to assess the constitutionality of those laws? Senior White House advisor Ian Sams defended Biden's pledge, noting that the U.S. Constitution does not specify whether an individual must be a natural-born citizen to serve on the Supreme Court. If an Uncle Tom like Clarence Thomas can sit on the court promoting white supremacy for more than 3 decades, I think it's only fair that let an undocumented immigrant have a turn, he said. Okay, yes, that is satire right there. See that? See that little blue thing up there? This is a little blue right here. It's satire from the Washington Free Beacon. But I gotta tell you, I wasn't sure when I read the first couple lines of it, and then I had to look to see, oh, is this April Fool's joke? Holy fucking shit. Anyway, all right, let's get some real articles because that was just too easy. Hello, Tex AG 007. Welcome. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Morning Night Live, as you know, is brought to you by viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please hit the like button. There's 31 people here and 15 likes. That's the easiest thing you can do. Come on. You're here. What the hell? And then, bit rate's too slow. I don't have to fix that. And then, are we frozen? No, we're not frozen. This is go. Oh, no, I must have hit this thing. Okay, yeah, we're good. Anyway, no. Okay, there we go. It's working. Okay. Hit the like button. Share the stream. I ask you every day. Share the stream. Share it somewhere. Some of you already done it. In fact, like I said, my Somnambule Nation share the stream. Share Your Gospel, share the stream. Rumble, somebody share the stream. Simon Wilkins, Good Morning Night Live. Oh, what? Wow. Now you can't retweet me without sharing a few of my photos. Oh, that's nice. What are these from? Simon, are you here? Here, let me show you these photos Simon Wilkins put on here. These are nice. Here, let's go full screen. I don't know where this is. It almost looks Midwestern-like, though. Because this looks like a bridge in... There's a bridge in... what's that town called? Dundas, Minnesota. There's a park that has a bridge that looks similar to this, but of course a lot of parks have bridges like this. Nice little river scene. Okay, there you go. So sometimes if you put pictures on the internet and share the stream, I will put them on the. I'll put them on the show. These are nice pics. This nice little stream here. I wouldn't call it a river. I'd call it a stream or a creek or whatever. But it's nice. Thank you, Simon Wilkins. I'm not sure. Wilkins, are you here? Madison County. Is that what Madison County? I'm not sure. Anyway, very very good. Very nice. All right, let's get back to the show. Where was I? And then you can sponsor the show by through Streamlabs. P-Dawg-Knight.live. That's 24/7. That's the same link as the Hijack the Show. If you want to hijack the show, drop a Hamilton and with a link, and we'll immediately divert to that special story. In fact, if you have any good April Fool's Day stories, like the one I just read from the Washington Free Beacon, I am more than happy to do it. But let's move on. These are not April Fool's stories now. Let's get into some real news. An El Paso judge has ordered the release of migrants seen in the viral video overwhelming the National Guard. The Texas magistrate judge, Humberto Acosta, ordered the release of migrants Sunday who were seen in a viral video. Hello, Jimmy Das Hotep. What's up? Who were in a viral video overwhelming National Guard troops. A group of illegal migrants was ordered released by the El Paso, Texas judge during an online teleconference bond hearing after being arrested in connection with the March 21st stampede that was caught by the New York Post on viral video, according to the El Paso Times. It is the ruling of this court that all the rioting participant cases will be released on their own recognizance, Acosta stated. Man, I gotta tell you, released on their own recognizance. What do you mean? do they gotta go? Do they at least have to go register with the Border Patrol and pretend they're asylum seekers? What does that even mean? Acosta reportedly called out the El Paso District Attorney's Office during the hearing, claiming that they were not ready to proceed with detention hearings for each defendant after he denied a motion for a continuance to have later hearings. The large group of migrants at the El Paso border, who reportedly were mainly Venezuelan men, could be seen in the chaotic scene storming over the chain link fence, as National Guard members could be heard yelling at the group to back up. Following the incident, the Texas Department of Public Safety made arrests, charging some with assault. Yeah, even the ones with assault who got charged with assault. Come on, what is going on here? Assault of a public servant for knocking down members of the National Guard, according to the El Paso Times. While it is unconfirmed how many illegal immigrants were detained, Acosta mentioned during the hearing that hundreds of migrants were entitled to a hearing within 48 hours. The El Paso Times report. So they're entitled to a hearing within 48 hours. What else are they entitled to, Judge? What are the ones who assaulted people? What are they entitled to? Maybe they get free representation, which whatever. I don't care about that. But why? Why are we releasing them? So he says, so if the DA's office is telling me that they're not ready to go, what we're going to do is we're going to release all these individuals on their own recognizance. Oh, so they say the DA wasn't ready to do the charges. Good morning, TC, by the way. Is this crazy? Are we in crazy town? What is the hell's going on? It's amazing. It's amazing. Now I have more immigration news, but first, real quick. Oh no, I don't. Thank you, TexAG007, for dropping a big $15 in the tip jar. And you are now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. It says, happy late birthday, buddy. Well, no, early. It's early. Birthday week is preceding my birthday because I'm going to be gone tomorrow through next Tuesday, and my birthday's on Thursday. So I just pre-celebration of the birthday. But thank you very much for sponsoring the show. That's awesome. Happy late birthday, buddy. I hope you and your family had a fantastic Easter Sunday. Yes, we did. Lady Boomer and I we did our traditional thing over at Graham Kay's house. Had a nice little Easter dinner in the afternoon, and it was good. Good morning, Mr. Scott, by the way. Nice to see you back. Thank you very much, TexAG007. Appreciate it. And you are now the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Awesome. Also, good morning, Rod Line. I see you over there, brother. What's up? All right, now, this is a story that kind of got out of hand over the weekend. And in some ways it did, and some ways it didn't. So, over the weekend, March 31st, apparently, well, not even apparently, it has been for the last 15 years. March 31st has been one of those, all the holidays that the LGBTQ plus people get. They got like 40 holidays during the year. Well, one of them was yesterday. International or maybe International Trans Day of Visibility, which I gotta be honest with you, it's hard to not see a trans person, because so many of them do it wrong. But it was Transgender Day of Visibility. Apparently, that's one of the 47 different holidays that trans people get. And Joe Biden did a proclamation for Trans Day of Visibility, which is what he's done every year. Okay, every year. Now, in fact, I'll prove it. Here's 2023's Trans Day of Visibility proclamation on Transgender Day of Visibility. He did one in 22. Here it is. Proclamation on Transgender Day of Visibility, which is March 31st. Again, 2021, proclamation on Transgender Day of Visibility. And again, he did it in 2024, this year. But Trans Day of Visibility just so happened to fall on Easter this year. In fact, let me go back onto X here. Let me go back onto X and we'll find, oops, let's see, click. All right, let's see, open that. Here, let's, where is it? Oh, shoot. Now I must have closed it by accident. Trans Day of Visibility. All right, so here we go. So he made this proclamation, just like he's done every year. And oh, by the way, here's oh God, this is the person who invented Trans Day of Visibility. This person. It's, oh my gosh, a trans person burned down this 117-year-old church in Portland. Cameron David Storr was charged with 2 counts of first-degree arson, 1 count of second-degree arson, 2 counts of second-degree burglary. Anyway, so the president made a proclamation, and lots of different people in the government were making speeches and whatever about Trans Day of Visibility. And so a lot of people were upset that Joe Biden made a proclamation about March 31st being Transgender Day of Visibility. And he made it very prominent, a very prominent proclamation and put it out there. And in fact, here, let's see. Let's go to Joe Biden's Twitter feed, see if, it's here somewhere. At Joe Biden. Here we go. Here's Joe Biden. So yesterday, this post right here, and I'll just highlight it here. This was his post on Easter. Now, again, he made this proclamation about Trans Day of Visibility. It's down here somewhere. On March 30th, I believe. Oh, maybe they took that down. But anyway, here's was his Easter message it was early in the morning on Easter Sunday. To all those gathering in churches and homes around the world today, happy Easter. May God bless you and keep you. Nice message, right? That's a nice message to put out on Easter Sunday, right? But then immediately after that, he posts this. On Transgender Day of Visibility, we celebrate the joy, strength, and absolute courage of some of the bravest people I know. Today, we show millions of transgender and non-binary Americans. Wait, non-binary? What? No, it's not non-binary Day of Visibility. They have special days for them. Trans and non-binary Americans, that we see them, they belong, and they should be treated with dignity and respect. And this giant graphic, trans rights are human rights. Oh, well, isn't that special? So when you see this, and then you see this, the most celebrated Catholic in America, Joseph Rahim Biden, you got to wonder, well, which one does he see as more important? for some reason, he sees this one as more important. Now, what's interesting about this too? Apparently, they tried to do some damage control, and the White House. Oh no, President Biden. Now, okay, let's find President Biden's Twitter feed too, because you got to also look at President Biden, and I think it's under POTUS, P-O-T-U-S. President Biden, right here, POTUS. Now let's scroll down this one. Again, a big, giant Transgender Day of Visibility, but apparently on the president one, he did actually put a bigger, put out a couple of them. Now, let's see. Where's the one he did? Okay, it doesn't look like he put it on here. But he has been on the president one, been saying, saying America 2, celebrate Good Friday and whatnot. So, oh, wow, here's one. Starting next year, my Inflation Reduction Act will cap total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare to $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year. Oh, so we'll be paying for that. Anyway, he did. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got to come back to another thing he put on here. This is funny. Anyway, he said on the president's feed, he did kind of fix it and go, Happy Easter, America. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. Put a little Happy Easter sign there from the White House. Then he posted another one. Jill and I sent our warm wishes to Christians around the world, celebrating the power and hope and the promise of Christ's resurrection this Easter Sunday. So apparently people didn't like this one because it was just very generic. And then he actually mentioned what Easter was. And then again, today is Transgender Day of Visibility. I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. You are made in the image of God, and you're worthy of respect and dignity, which I don't disagree with, that they are made in the image of God and are worthy of respect and dignity, but they keep changing that image of God that they were made in, which is fine, I guess, whatever, to each his own, but let's just leave the kids alone. Hello, Shrapnel, by the way. So, damage control. White House moves Sunday to make public its best wishes for Christians in the wake of an earlier furor arising from President Biden embracing Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. Because he mentioned originally it mentioned Transgender Day of Visibility first. A statement from the White House was issued to that effect, saying the power of Christ's resurrection is honored and observed in the observance of Easter. The same messages we already saw there. And then Biden's proclamation issued on Good Friday, another sacred day for Christians, trumpeted transgender Americans are part of the fabric of our nation and called for the passage of the Equality Act, the law that would codify Democrats' embrace of gender identity, the made-up concept that one can identify as a sex other than what they were born as and become that sex. Christians across the nation responded to Biden's declaration as it went viral as Republicans in Congress made plain their opposition. Quote, the Biden White House has betrayed the central tenet of Easter, which is the resurrection of Christ. That's what Mike Johnson said, banning sacred truth and tradition while at the same time proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day is outrageous and abhorrent. The American people are taking note. Now, a lot of people, when they read, because a lot of people put messages like that. Oh, Biden's declaring this is Easter as Transgender Day of visibility, which, okay, he didn't really do that. Like I said, he's been doing this every year, March 31st. It's always been on March 31st, and Easter just happened to fall on the same day. But I think where a lot of people take exception is where that he made that proclamation first. That was seemed like the most important thing he put out that day. And so that's where people got a little sidetracked. But a lot of people, anyone who put out posts like this, were immediately ratioed by people saying, it's always been March 31st. And even when I saw someone complaining about it, I had to look up if this was new or if this is something he just came up with. And this has been this way since I think 2009, they've had this Transgender Day of Visibility. Again, I gotta be serious here. If I see this person and they're down the street wearing a dress that looks like that, I'm probably gonna not. It's pretty hard to say that you're invisible as a trans person. I'm just saying. So anyway, but a lot of people were bitching about that. Now, the other part though that's the shot. Okay, here's the chaser though. Here's the chaser when it comes to Easter. The Biden White House bans religious imagery in an Easter art contest. Yet another casual insult to the vast majority of Americans. The Biden White House has banned all religious imagery and themes in its annual Easter art contest. Apparently, they are still calling Easter Easter, but this move is just outrageous. Obviously, they're saying religious, but they mean Christian. They don't want Christian imagery. The White House banned religious Easter eggs. The Biden administration banned children from submitting Easter eggs with religious themes for its 2024 Celebrating National Guard Families Art Contest. The competition, which is part of the White House's annual Easter egg roll. Now, why would they ban religious imagery? I bet they had some the star. What's that? What is the Muslim? Is it the star and moon or whatever thing that the Muslims? They wouldn't care if that was on there. So anyway, the Biden administration banned children from submitting Easter eggs with religious themes for its 2024 Celebrating National Guard's Family Art Contest. The competition, which is part of the White House annual Easter egg roll, explicitly stipulated that egg designs not feature any religious symbol on the Christian holiday. The submission must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, overtly religious themes, a flyer with instructions from the White House. Now remember, these are freaking Easter eggs. They're freaking Easter eggs, and they're banning religious imagery on Easter eggs. Why are you having people decorate eggs, an egg decorating contest? Because it's Easter eggs. And if you can't put a cross on an Easter egg, what the hell is wrong with you? I can't believe it. Okay, wait a minute. Other restrictions include depictions promoting bigotry, racism, hatred, or harm against any group or individual based on race, gender, religion, national disability, sexual orientation, or age. The White House did. Yes, see, I'm pretty sure that all the kiddies decorating eggs are going to put images of bigotry, racism, hatred, harm against any group or individual based on race, gender, religion, national disability, sexual orientation, or age. That's what kids are all looking to do when they're decorating their Easter eggs. They're going to put pictures of Klan hoods, and they're going to put pictures of Dylan Roof, and they're going to put pictures of what's that guy, the Reverend that Barack Obama, Reverend Wright, Jeremiah Wright. They're gonna have a depiction of Jeremiah Wright, and also of Hamas. That's what they're gonna put on the Easter eggs. That's what kids are thinking about. But scenes from popular Democrat kiddie porn library are probably fine though. Anyway, so as you can imagine, people had thoughts. Joe Biden declares Easter Sunday is Transgender Visibility Day while he bans Christian symbols from the White House Easter egg roll. An Easter egg. Motherfucker, I can't believe it. Anyway, so there you go. There's more in the story there. Thank you, Avocados de Albi, sponsor the show one more time. AD says, the important question. Did Biden get lost and need to be given stage directions from the Easter Bunny this year? That's a good question. You know how that works, man. He's got it. No. But the thing is, he didn't get lost. someone was asking him questions and he started answering them. And I think one of his handlers was wearing that Easter egg costume and said, "Oh, no, don't ask him questions. He has no idea. And he doesn't, we don't want to have to, clean up after this." So anyway, and let's see, one other story about this. Let's see. Oh, this is just, I'm not going to, the Belmont Club, the Ghost Problem. Why did I even open this one up? History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes, Mark Twain observed. Joe Biden's rebranding of Easter Sunday as the Transgender Day of Visibility can be understood as part of a long line of efforts to replace religious observance with state-sponsored ersatz. Okay, so again, this story, he didn't necessarily rebrand Easter as Transgender Day of Visibility, but he did make the fact that this prominent event that's been going on for 15 years, he did seem to make it more important with his proclamation before he said anything about Easter. And then on Easter Sunday, they finally said, "Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. We should probably put out stuff about Easter because we're pissing off some people." So anyway, you can read that one on your own. Moving on. And again, like I said, he's been doing this every year. There's 3 years of him doing it. So it's not like it's something new. It's just new that it happened to land on Easter. So a lot of the rhetoric around it was kind of dumb. Okay. Or at least, okay, a lot of the rhetoric around it was a little bit off. Because it's not that he made this up, but he decided that it was important for him to acknowledge it on Easter Sunday. All right, moving on. Speaking of which, also other people who celebrated Easter, Nancy Pelosi, another famous devout Catholic. Representative Nancy Pelosi marked Transgender Visibility Day and Cesar Chavez Day on Easter Sunday, though the California state government offices will only observe Chavez Day on Monday the 1st. Pelosi issued a tweet honoring the late farm worker union organizer and civil rights leader on Sunday, shortly after posting a message of Easter greetings to Christians worldwide. So here's her message, or Easter greeting, which I'm surprised that lightning did not strike her when she wrote this. But on Easter Sunday, as families gather in prayer for blessings bestowed on our communities and our country, may this holy season be a time for renewal, hope, and peace. From my family to yours, wishing you a glorious Easter. Okay, that's a nice message. I'm sure she didn't spontaneously combust, which is so surprising, but she wrote a nice Easter message. She followed that up with Happy Cesar Chavez Day. His legacy as a fearless, tireless champion for justice and dignity for all continues to inspire our nation. Today, his fight for better pay and protections for workers lives on as we work to build and realize a better life for all Americans. That's not a bad message. I mean, whatever. I don't know if she knows how much Cesar Chavez was against illegal immigration, though. I wonder if she would know that. He was a bully. Yes, he was a bully, Kara Soldier. And then she issued a tweet as transgender Americans continue to face hate and harassment, it is more important than ever to stand with the trans community on Trans Day of Visibility, and every day let us affirm our commitment to uplifting trans people and ensuring a future free of discrimination. Well, again, trans people, live your damn lives. Just don't tell me to see what I don't see. Okay. Sometimes I'm not going to see what you see or what you feel. I cannot see your feelings, and I don't know what it feels like to feel like you think you're something else than what you are. I don't get it. And but I don't hate you for it, but please don't impose things on me that I don't, if I see what I see, I see what I see. Suddenly I see. That's a song too. All right, next, what else I got here? I got some other stuff. I'm ahead of the game today. Oh, yeah, and then another prominent man of faith, Reverend Raphael Warnock, the Democrat from Georgia, senator. On Sunday, CNN State of the Union said that Republicans are using faith as a weapon to beat down transgender people. Wow, now, why is he using that violent language? I'm just curious. I don't like it when they use violent language because, it could be a bloodbath. Host Dana Bass says Republicans are attacking President Biden for recognizing today as Transgender Day of Visibility. I want to be very clear that this day, this Transgender Day of Visibility, is always on March 31st, as it has been since 2009, which is a point I made on Twitter yesterday when someone, one of my friends on Twitter, my internet friends, said that, and like, is this real? And that's when I went to look it up. I'm like, oh yeah, it's always March 31st. It just happens to be the same day. But hey, it makes for great outrage on the internet. And boy, oh boy, were the outrage and what do you call them when they're trying to get people to interaction with them? The interaction, grifters were all on point yesterday with this. So this president has marked every year, Transgender Day of Visibility every year since he's been in the White House. The date of Easter changes year to year. I don't need to tell you that the House Speaker called Biden's announcement abhorrent and said he betrayed the central tenet of Easter. What do you say to that? So Warnock said, well, apparently the Speaker finds trans people abhorrent, and I think he ought to think about that. Okay, the fact of the matter is, as you said, March 31st has been a day to lift up transgender people who endure violence and bigotry. You know what? I'm going to talk about that too. Violence and bigotry. Easter, the date changes every single year, but this is one more incident of folks one more instance of folk who do not know how to lead us, trying to divide us. This is the opposite of the Christian faith. Well, yeah. He had a Jesus-centered, the marginalized. He sent it to the poor. And in a moment like this, we need voices, particularly voices of faith, who would use our faith not as a weapon to beat other people down, but as a bridge to bring all of us together. And this is what Martin Luther King Jr. said. I am honored to preach from that pulpit every single day. Look, he's not wrong on this. Look, you don't have to hate the people even if you disagree with them. And I disagree with them vehemently. And I'm sure most of us think that way. Look, I don't care if they live their lives the way they are. I don't want it encroaching on my life, and I won't encroach on theirs. But do not tell me what I am allowed to say, what I'm allowed to see, what I'm allowed to believe. You have no right to tell me what I'm allowed to think, ever. And so maybe that's a message you should also learn. Okay? I'm sure that the Easter message is that Christ rose for all of us, if you're a Christian, if you believe that. Okay? Christ rose for all of us, including these people who have these severe problems. But it doesn't say embrace the problems. You can have empathy or sympathy or whatever. You can, want what's good for them without embracing the problems. He didn't say that the whores should be whores. He said that they can be saved through him. You know what I'm saying? So let's remember, or he did not embrace the sin. He was there to forgive the sinner, that God would forgive the sinner, not that to embrace the sin and not to embrace, so we can have, again, you can care about people who have this severe, mental issue, but not embrace it. Okay. So real quick. Thank you, Rod Line. Drop it. I'll just say a 5 in the tip jar through YouTube Super Chat. Said, gone next week to look at retirement homes. Are you checking out of the new model year walkers and scooters? You aren't over the hill. You are off the cliff. Look, I already have 2 walkers up in my attic because I had to have a walker for the first few days when I had my hip replaced. So there, you think that's funny? I already have a walker, but we sold the scooters that my father-in-law had when he passed away. So anyway, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Greatly appreciated. Moving on, Daily Wire, House Republicans say committee lawyers don't see a specific crime in the Biden impeachment inquiry. Hey, that's why you have the impeachment inquiry, to see if there's a specific crime. Let's see what this story is. House Republicans said now hopefully this is not, this is from yesterday, so it's not an April Fool's joke. A House Republican said on Sunday that committee lawyers do not believe the corruption folks impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden has produced sufficient evidence to show a specific crime. Representative Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, spoke about the status of the inquiry during an interview on NBC News after Biden was formally invited to testify before the House Oversight Committee, signaling that the probe is reaching a crescendo. The House, nearly controlled by Republicans and leadership, can only afford to lose 1 or 2 votes if all Democrats oppose any articles of impeachment that may be introduced in the weeks and months to come. And he said this on Meet the Press. He said, back in December, quote, once we realize there is not a high crime or misdemeanor, we should move on. Has that moment come in your view? Asked Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker. Well, right now, the lawyers in the committee that I talked to say there's not a specific crime, and he'd need that for a high crime or misdemeanor. Now, I think it merited an investigation to put the facts out, let the public look at it and make a determination. And I think it's good to be transparent, especially we are in an election year, so let's put the facts on the table, he added. But when I talked to the lawyers on the committee staff, they say at this point there is not a specific crime that's been committed, and I think that's important. Welker pressed the congressman again. Based on what you're saying, is it time to drop it? He said, I don't know if it's time right now, but I do think we are probably nearing the conclusion of this investigation. And I think it was important for the American people to see that, yes, there's $24 million in foreign money that the family raised and all the hidden LLCs that the money was moved around in, but that is in itself not a high crime or misdemeanor, he added. It remains unclear whether House Republicans will ultimately introduce articles of impeachment against Biden, let alone have enough votes to pass them. But that may not be the end of the story. So anyway, House Oversight Chairman James Comer recently suggested that criminal referrals would come out of this inquiry, but probably not, maybe not for the president. Who knows? I guess, but that's why they had the inquiry. If they're not finding a specific crime, then they do need to move on. Okay. Did you hear about this? I did not hear about this one. Apparently a barge struck a bridge in Oklahoma too. I mean, here's my guess. So we saw the crash of the container ship in Baltimore. My guess that some of these minor collisions may happen more often than we would ever know. But I guarantee you that right now, we are going to hear about all of them. Every single one that happens. So anyway, a barge's collision with an Arkansas River bridge has prompted the immediate closure of a major highway in Oklahoma. The state patrol disclosed that the area outside of Sallisaw had been rendered impassable, impacting U.S. Highway 59. The incident, which occurred around 1:25 p.m. on Saturday, led to enforced traffic diversions. The bridge, a key structure over the Arkansas River at the point of entry into the Robert S. Kerr Reservoir, will remain shut for an undetermined period pending further inspections. The cause of the collision, or allision. Oh, that's right. And when it's on the water, it's called an allision with an A instead of collision. So it had an allision with the bridge. The cause of the allision has yet to be determined. The barge was going the wrong way. That's the cause. Engineers were recently seen removing a segment of distorted steel from the wrecked Francis Scott Key Bridge. Okay, that's about Maryland. We don't need to know about that. But anyway, so it's not the only time a bridge has been allisioned. That's so weird. Speaking of the Baltimore Bridge, though, Buttigieg pledges more federal assistance for the Maryland Bridge collapse after a $60 million start. Okay, I gotta wonder, how much is it going to cost to rebuild that bridge? They're probably not going to rebuild it the same way either, but how much is it going to cost to replace that bridge? I got a feeling it's going to be way over $60 million. And the idea that the federal taxpayers are going to pay for it, I think that they should send a big-ass bill to the container ship company. But anyway, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said on Sunday the federal government would provide more financial assistance to assist with the recovery of the deadly bridge collapse in Baltimore last week. The cabinet official made the comments on CBS News after the Transportation Department announced a $60 million emergency relief fund to help Maryland rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which was hit by a cargo ship. Quote, "We are using an authority called the Emergency Relief, the Emergency Relief Act? I don't know. This is through our Federal Highway Administration. That is how we got those first $60 million out there, and there will be more to come. There will be more where that came from," Buttigieg said during the interview on Face the Nation. Well, don't they have a big-ass infrastructure bill that they're not spending all of it yet? How about taking it from that? Now, it is possible we may need to turn to Congress to supplement that fund. That has happened in the past. If you remember, the 2007 bridge collapse in Minnesota, ultimately about $260 million put together, including funds that were put through Congress on a bipartisan basis, Buttigieg said. Yeah, so that bridge in Minneapolis, probably about 1/7 of the length of that bridge in Baltimore. I mean, it's not anywhere near the length of the bridge in Baltimore. Crazy. Hello, Resolute Germ. It says probably will be $1 billion. I would not be shocked at all. They will get the money from the shipping company or insurance company eventually, but that will be a decade down the road. Yeah, that's going to take a long time. Those Eight Real Dudes says $300 million. I got a feeling it's going to be more than that because the bridge in Minneapolis ended up costing $260 million, which surprises me. It's like, because I'm watching all these construction projects around the Twin Cities, and they've built a lot of bridges and changed a lot of highway around to ease the traffic flow, especially going into, around the TC. And it's Twin Cities. And boy, they've spent a lot of money here. But that bridge was $260 million. And again, it's not anywhere near the length of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. So moving on. Apparently, this was a crazy story. So the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation agents, reportedly launched an investigation in Oklahoma to look into social media posts. Rola Abdeljawad reported an unexpected visit by FBI agents concerning her social media activity, according to Fox News. The agents reportedly visited her home and inquired about her post following alerts from Facebook. Abdeljawad, who sought to confirm the agent's identity by asking them to display their badges on camera, shared her experience through a video uploaded by her lawyer, Hassan Shilby, on a social media platform, X. Quote, "Facebook gave us a couple of screenshots of your account," one agent said in the video, to which Abdeljawad replied, "So we no longer live in a free country, or we can't say what we want?" "No, we totally do," another agent wearing red. Well, here's the video. Let's watch the video because I have not seen this.
Can we just move in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy?
Sure we can, yeah.
I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not going to show you my credentials on the phone.
Yes, you should. Why? Why
so
not?
You said you were with the FBI? And why won't you show me your credentials?
We did. I showed you my
I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So
I would tell you I'm done immediately.
So what we'd like to do,
I didn't look at your
We're done.
credentials.
We're
Again,
done.
I didn't verify them.
Identify yourself.
I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about something.
No, the conversation's over. Right there and there. The conversation's
no, I would not.
over.
I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification cards? No. No. I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right.
Why are you here?
You might have your attorney contact the FBI office in Oklahoma City.
What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
I'll Google it for you.
Names of the agents. This is
So you're
amazing.
refusing to identify yourselves.
No, we've already identified them.
Again, I did not take a look.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in Oklahoma City is 405-290-7770.
Okay.
If you can just call me back.
What are your names?
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple of screenshots of your account.
Okay. So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do. That's why we're not here to arrest you or anything like that.
Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America.
Right.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
We do this every day, all day long.
Whoa, that's a problem.
Okay.
It's just an effort to keep everybody safe. Make sure that nobody
Safe how? I want to know what she posted.
anything like that. And we've got no reason to believe necessarily that that's true, but that's why we just
Unbelievable.
wanted to have a conversation.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information of anybody else in the neighborhood?
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions.
Now look, unless she's making threats, I'm curious what they are flagging for her. And it goes on for another minute, but I'm not going to spend that time. That in the caption, Shibli advised the public on what to do in these situations. What she did right: refused to speak to them without a lawyer, refused to let them in her house, record the interaction. The lawyer wrote on X. What she did wrong: she exited her house. Do not let them in your house if they do not have a warrant, but do not exit your house either. Okay. Specific posts that caught the FBI's eye are unknown, yet Abdeljawad's outspoken posts against the Gaza conflict, criticizing Israel and showing support for Palestine, are well documented on her Facebook, according to Fox News. Israela terrorist filth, she said in one post, Fox News reported. They think Ramadan is a weakness for Muslims, not realizing Ramadan is the strength. Free Palestine. May Allah destroy every single despicable Zionist, their supporters and backers. Amen. So, look, I don't agree with her, but does she have the right to post that or say what she wants to say? Yes, she does. Because he's American. Good morning, Swirly, by the way. She posted something very Muslim-y, but from what I saw, not illegal, although forceful. Yeah, they have no business. Why are they bothering her in her home in Oklahoma? Don't fall for their games. Our community is being watched, and they are waiting for any reason to round us up, Abdeljawad wrote on March 24th, according to Fox News. If you're Muslim and or pro-Palestinian, consider all your media accounts, Google searches, mail, messenger, local mosques, political events monitored. Hey, welcome to the club. Because if you are, look, I've never been like one of these MAGA hat wearing person, but if you're on the right and you say some wrong things, they're monitoring you too. That's just straight up the truth. So, good for her. She should, like I said, don't leave your house. And require, if they're not going to show you their identification, require them to identify themselves verbally, who they're, what are the names, once you get on camera. So you got to protect yourself, but don't talk to them. If they don't have a warrant, don't let them in your house. Don't leave the house, whatever. So that's the advice her lawyer gave. And then just a few more articles I have. Matt Taibbi asks why he doesn't pay much attention to the sins or threats from the right. Loss of institutions has been a frequent topic here. It didn't start with my 2007 legal insurrection anniversary post, but that post crystallized things in my mind. Legal insurrection is 9 years old and filled with dread. All right, let's see here. Where is this? I just want to know what this is about. Imagine living in a repressive country in which the government blocked access to and suppressed internet content. You don't need to move. It's coming here, but from private industry. This is, in many ways, more dangerous than government suppression of free speech, because at least the government is subject to the First Amendment and can be voted out of office. I don't know if there's any uncorrupted institutions left that matter. The education system from public grade school through public and private higher ed is gone. The frontal assault on free speech on campuses is the result. If you think this is just a humanities and social sciences problem, stay tuned. In 3 to 5 years, if we're still here, we'll be writing about how the social justice warriors have corrupted the STEM fields. Oh, I have a story on that, by the way. It's happening now and not just in the headlines yet. It's just not in the headlines yet. There's a rising tide of absolutism in ideas and enforcement of ideological uniformity that is palpable. I feel it in the air, even at Cornell, which is far from the worst. So I'm thinking through what it will mean to live without institutions. Sorry to be a downer on our blog birthday. I've always tried to be honest with you. And honestly, this blog's birthday, I'm filled with dread and not good cheer. So he wrote this. This is, I think it's William Jacobson. Yep. Wrote that in 2017. Now, many of his predictions don't come true, but the one that did, it's worse now. I've spoken many times about how the left is a greater threat to our freedom than the right because the left controls almost all of the major institutions in society, so it has power. One exception is the U.S. Supreme Court, the result of which is an aggressive effort to delegitimize the court and intimidate the conservative justices. So this tweet from April Harding caught my eye. It's one of the trending topics on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's a quote from reporter Matt Taibbi about why he doesn't focus as much on the right. It's not clear where this question was asked, but Taibbi doesn't seem to deny it. So here's the tweet. Matt Taibbi was asked, why doesn't he pay much attention to the sins or threats from the right? And he gave a great answer. Why I don't spend a lot of time on the Republicans? Oh, let's do the whole tweet here because it's a thread. It's a longer tweet. Hang on. Why I don't spend a lot of time on the Republicans. One, there is an enormous army of mainstream media reporters already going after them from every angle, with most major news organizations little more than proxies for the Democratic National Committee, to the point where stations hire Biden's spokespeople as anchors. Number two, the Republicans have very little institutional power nationally. It's not their point of view prevailing in the schools, on campuses, in newsrooms where over 90% of working reporters vote blue, and especially in the intelligence and military apparatus, which has openly allied itself with Democrats. That's because that's who gives them the most money. Even if Donald Trump were a, quote, threat to democracy, he lacks the institutional pull to do much damage, which can't be said of Democrats. Number three, the Democrats' ambitions are significantly more dangerous than those of the Republicans. From digital surveillance to censorship to making intel and enforcement agencies central players in domestic governance, all plans being executed globally as well as in our one country, or thinking about our own country, they are thinking on a much bigger and more dangerous scale than Republicans. I lived in third world countries, and the endless criminal indictments of people like Trump and the ongoing lawfare efforts to prevent even third-party challenges are classic authoritarian symptoms. The Republicans aren't near this kind of capability. Last and most important, the Democrats are being organized around a more potent but also much dumber, more cult-like ideology. People like Yuval Harari and his transhumanist divinity concept scare me a lot more than the Republicans, and I was once undercover in the apocalyptic church in Texas. Ask your average Russian or Cuban what over-empowered pseudo-intellectuals are capable of. I have a pretty good record of picking dangerous phenomenon ahead of time. I feel confident on this one, and that's before we get to the demographic class shifts in the party. So there you go. He's spot on there. All right, let me go. All right, let's pop out of here for a second. Thank you, Avocats Diablo. Another small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you very much. And Avocados Diablo asks, are those actually agents or just some friends or neighbors helping get her some internet clout? I don't know, man. They were dressed awfully casually for FBI agents. I expect, at least dark suits and ties. Not that they don't have to be men in black, but damn, they look pretty casual for FBI agents. All right, let's finish this out with a couple of articles. Apparently, there's a problem on Air Force One, and it's not a mechanical problem. It's not doors falling off. It's not wheels flying off midair or anything like that, duct tape holding the wings together. The problem on Air Force One, as of late, apparently, is that journalists are stealing from Air Force One. Well, a White House staffer and reporter recently rendezvoused to address a recurring issue of items being taken from Air Force One, the presidential plane, according to a report from Politico. The problem was highlighted when the office of the president noted that several branded items were missing from the press cabin following a trip in February. In response to the incident, an anonymous email was sent offering assistance for the quiet return of any items accidentally taken. The individual who took linens from the presidential plane met with a White House representative near the Andrew Jackson statue in Lafayette Square, where the item was confidentially returned. This petty theft seems not to be an isolated incident, as several sources have reportedly observed Air Force One being used as a source of souvenirs by the traveling press pack. Anonymous tips even identified a former major newspaper correspondent serving a dinner party on stolen Air Force One crockery. Holy shit. Petty theft on official property doesn't seem confined to the plane. The executive mansion also noted in 2015 of disappearing items, some of significant value. So the the press is just making their own little souvenir shop out of the White House and the White House plane. All right. Now, we also know on, I think was it Saturday, the funeral, or Friday, excuse me, the funeral of Officer Jonathan Diller. And I'm gonna read some of this New York Times article covering this, because there's some interesting things, and then I'm gonna read you the New York Post take on it, because they have a very good take on this. So listen to the tone of this. Remember, this is a fallen police officer shot during a traffic stop, shot and killed, and they had a funeral for him in New York City. Now, remember, as I mentioned Friday, politicians were banned from the funeral, except they specifically invited Donald Trump to attend the funeral. And Donald Trump obliged them because, you know, he's generally pretty good about stuff like that. If people ask him to come somewhere or do something, he's pretty good about doing stuff like this kind of stuff, especially. And really, it wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, but other people reported on this. So here's the New York Times take of this. We'll start with the headline. Thousands of mourners attend funeral of NYPD officer on Long Island. The sub-headline, though, on an officer killed in your state, local news. The killing of Officer Jonathan Diller, who was shot in the line of duty, has become a political flashpoint. Mayor Eric Adams and the police commissioner spoke at the services. Really? Is that the important part about this funeral? And this is not an editorial. I was like looking for the editorial. No, this is not editorial. So listen, this is the story. 5 days after New York City police officer Jonathan Diller was fatally shot in the line of duty, friends, family, and colleagues gathered to remember him at a funeral on Saturday morning at a Catholic church on Long Island. Excuse me, it was on Saturday, not Friday. The funeral at St. Rose Lima Church in Massapequa, like the two-day wake that preceded it, drew large crowds of law enforcement officers mourning a life cut short in a killing that has become a political flashpoint. Again, how about just talking about the funeral? Before Officer Diller's hearse arrived, the area in front of the church on Merrick Road was flooded with thousands of police officers from New York City and throughout the region. Children held signs in support of the police. An honor guard stood by as a lone bagpipe player played at the church entrance, and police helicopters buzzed overhead. When the hearse arrived, it was led by hundreds of police motorcycles and a pipe and drum corps laying down a slow, solemn drum beat. Uniformed officers carried the coffin into the church past the honor guard and Officer Diller's family. His wife, Stephanie Diller, held their 1-year-old son, Ryan, dressed in a small dark suit. Well, what is he going to be in a big, was he going to look like David Byrne in a big dark suit? No. The boy wriggled in her arms and looked around curiously as the silent mourners as the bagpipe player played Amazing Grace. Officer Diller's coffin was set down at the front of the church near the center aisle. As mourners, many in New York Police Department uniforms, filed into the church, top leaders of the department could be seen sitting in the front rows. The service began with a prayer around 11:30 a.m. Mayor Adams, a former police captain, spoke at the event, addressing Officer Diller's family and the broader police department. A vast majority of New York City residents, he said, share our vision of holding criminals accountable and reducing gun violence. Okay, he is correct. A vast majority of New York City residents share our vision of holding criminals accountable and reducing gun violence. I am you, he told the assembled officers. I know what it's like to don a bulletproof vest. Officer Diller died doing what we asked him to do, said Police Commissioner Edward Coban, who spoke after the mayor. Officer Diller made dozens of arrests in his 3 years of service and quickly became one of our best, Commissioner Coban said. His death will never be his legacy, he said, shortly before announcing that Officer Diller had been posthumously promoted to detective first grade with a shield number matching his son's birth date. Applause erupted in the church announcement, or at that church announcement. Officer Diller graduated at State University of New York Maritime Village with a degree in marine transportation in 2014. He joined the police department in February 2021 and had been recognized 3 times for excellent police duty since then. He typically worked tougher parts of the southeast section of Queens near Kennedy International Airport. He and his partner were on patrol in such an area on Monday when they pulled up to a car with 2 people inside that had parked illegally at a bus stop on Mott Avenue in Far Rockaway, the police said. Officer Diller told the man in the passenger seat, Guy Rivera, 34, to get out of the car. The police said that Mr. Rivera refused, pulled out a gun, and shot Officer Diller in a part of his body below his protective vest. The police said, despite having been shot, he managed to disarm Rivera. Officer Diller was pronounced dead after being taken to Jamaica Hospital. His partner, Officer Vekash Kneda, returned fire, striking Mr. Rivera, who survived and was charged on Thursday with first-degree murder. The man in the car's driver's seat at the time, Lindy Jones, 41, was charged with a number of gun crimes related to the shooting. Mr. Rivera had been arrested nearly 24 times before, mostly on drug-related assault charges, officials said. Now, they could have stopped this whole thing there, but I'm going to keep reading. Mr. Rivera is being represented by lawyers from the Legal Aid Society, a nonprofit. On Saturday, a spokesman from the organization said that the lawyers had no comment. Some people, particularly Republicans, have seized on the killing as emblematic of what they consider the lax laws and public safety policies promoted by New York Democrats. Why is this part of the article? If they want to have an editorial later, fine. But why is this part of the article? What does this have to do with the funeral? The union representing the city's police officers had warned city council members whom they view as unsupportive of law enforcement not to attend Officer Diller's wake or funeral. Patrick Hendry, president of the Police Benevolent Association, spoke at the funeral on Saturday and offered the union's support to Officer Diller's family. There was a glimpse of the politicization surrounding Officer Diller's killing when reports emerged from at least one news outlet claiming that Governor Kathy Hochul had been asked to leave the wake for the officer that she attended on Friday. At an Easter-related event in Albany on Saturday, Ms. Hochul said that no one had told her to leave the wake. She said her team had asked Officer Diller's family if she would be welcome to attend. I said prayers at the casket, and it was very respectful. Former President Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee in this year's presidential race, is among those who have denounced progressive policies as fomenting crime in New York City and elsewhere, even as data show crime declining across the United States. Now, that again, that's why they put that FBI report out. They were trying to disarm Trump on this particular topic. And look, if crime is declining across the United States, is it declining in New York City? Why are they putting the National Guard in the subway? Through March 24th, reports of major crimes in the city, which include murder, felony, assault, and rape, are down by about 2% compared to the same time last year, according to police data. Mr. Trump attended the wake for Officer Diller on Thursday and told reporters that the country needed to get back to law and order and to crack down on violent crime. He called Mr. Adams to offer condolences for the officer's death and was greeted at the wake by Commissioner Caban. On Saturday, Ms. Diller eulogized her husband, who said he was absolutely my soulmate. Officer Diller, the youngest of 3 children, was the mischievous one, she said. But he also had the sweetest heart. Ms. Diller said he used to make his mother handwritten apology letters. Officer Diller grew up skiing, playing lacrosse and hockey. Ms. Diller said, they gotta keep, we know that she said it. Why do they keep saying that? Every sentence they add that. The couple met after being set up by a friend, and they married in 2019. They had a pretty much perfect and quiet life in Massapequa until 5 days ago when everything changed forever. Nothing compared to his best role of all, being a dad. Jonathan always wanted to be a dad, and he wasted no time being the greatest one. After the service, 6 officers carried Officer Diller's coffin to a hearse outside the church as thousands of uniformed officers stood at attention along Merritt Road. So, look, they didn't have to put any of the politics in here at all. They could have just said, and, Republicans seize, that's another word for Republicans pounce. But why did they have to put that in there? If they wanted to have an editorial about it in a different place, that'd be fine. But this is reporting on the funeral. Who, what, why, and where, and not our opinion. Republicans pounced. Also, they are very specific about which crime they list as being down. Right, that's true too. So anyway, the New York Post the editorial board was not happy about this. In fact, their headline, the New York Times disgraceful, deceitful report on Detective Diller's funeral. How many police officers and how many families need to make the ultimate sacrifice before we start protecting them? Stephanie Diller's plaintive question at Saturday's funeral for her husband, Detective John Diller, somehow turned out to be news not fit to print for the New York Times, nor the lines that preceded it. So they left that out. It's been 2 years and 2 months since Detective Rivera and Detective Mora made the ultimate sacrifice, just like my husband, Jonathan Diller. Dominique Rivera stood before all the elected officials present today, pleading for change. That change never came. And now my son will grow up without his father, and I will grow old without my husband, and his parents have to say goodbye to their child. That wasn't in the New York Times Post. Her words made the front page of the Post, even the hyper-left Daily News, nebbishly Newsday, at least put the funeral on page 1. Yet the New York Times stuck his report on page A21 without even a tracer on the front page. The one local story that got that privilege was about New City trash containers. So this is the New York City, get a rope, did not even put a hint of this funeral on the front page of the New York Times. Are they too international for that? But they did have an article about new trash containers in the city. Probably someplace to put your New York Times. Not even the online version with no space limit at all, though it ran 1,100 plus words. But the Times did find room for the ever-important Republicans pounce angle. Nearly 300 words on how some people, particularly Republicans, have seized on the killing as emblematic of what they consider the lax laws of public safety, blah, 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 blah. We read it. Again, one of those some people was the widow in her eulogy, citing the similar and still unanswered plea of another cop widow 2 years before. The fact the Times didn't deign to share it with its readers. In short, the Gray Lady just offered a masterclass on how to present disingenuous spin in the guise of an honest reporting. So, and its true motto has become only the news that supports our agenda. Spot on. So yeah, why did they have that in there? Why was that part of the article? They had no business in the article. Really, all they had to say was, Governor Kathy Hochul attended, Donald Trump attended, Mayor Adams spoke, his wife spoke, and maybe they could have put a transcript of her speech instead of just cutting out the juicy bits, right? It's crazy. And then to contrast that, the utter gall of Biden's Democratic New York City gala as city mourns murdered police officers. Trick question: 4 presidents went to New York City last week. Only one paid his respects to a fallen New York police officer. Was it Biden, Obama, Clinton, or Trump? Well, we already know. The answer is obvious without even knowing who was there at the Massapequa funeral home. It was Donald Trump, who was welcomed with open arms by the family of Detective Jonathan Diller, the 31-year-old father of one who was gunned down by a recidivist suspect who should have never been there in the first place. It was Trump who said the right things, who had the empathy to know that at a time like this, you show up, you acknowledge the sacrifice of what it means in the wider world. He's not a professional politician, but he acted on normal human instinct to comfort a grieving widow and the 1-year-old son who will never remember his father. He's from Queens, so he knew what was expected by the sea of cops who stood for miles in the rain in a sign of respect for their fallen brother. He's canny enough populist leader to understand that the death of Diller is an epic moment that transcends politics. The idea that, now look, I'm sure the fundraiser for Raheem here was planned in advance. They couldn't have anticipated the fact that there was an officer would be killed. But boy, not a mention. You're in New York, not a mention. Biden's lack of grace. It is telling that Biden always stumbles over the mention of God when he tries to recite the Declaration of Independence, the central moral document of the country he has the honor to lead. Think about this, he said on stage Thursday night. This is not hyperbole. We come about as a consequence of an idea. No, I'm serious about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, endowed, because that's the basis of our existence. You stumbled on it. He didn't say endowed by their creator. All men and women are endowed by their creator. Nope. Well, now he has to say it was almost Trans Day of Remembrance. So all men and women and non-binary and demi girls and pseudo hypoleptic man freaks and everybody are endowed by the thing. So, all right, it's almost time for me to go. In fact, it is time for me to go. And there's other articles left here that I'm not getting to. This is My Vulva kindergarten curriculum teaches 4-year-olds about HIV, AIDS, and gender identity. The curriculum at New York City Public Schools teaches students as young as 4 years old about sexually transmitted diseases and gender identity, according to the New York Post. The city growing up and staying safe, New York City K-12 HIV education curriculum includes material geared towards elementary schoolers, such as books about penises and vulvas, according to the New York Public Schools website. Kindergarten students learning about penises and vulvas. That's what we want. Woo! Okay, you can read that one. And then the other one here, PJ Media, equity-based algebra. Now, this lady got called out because she found out to be a fraud, but California's math framework has been adopted in most of the state's 950 school districts. And the one person most responsible for writing and pushing the framework, Joe Boaler, has been a target of a 100-page anonymous complaint that she misrepresented dozens of citations that underpin her research. The CMF is a series of policy and curriculum suggestions designed to bring equity. You know what to do when you hear the word equity? Run. To the math scores of minority students. Some of Boaler's outrageous suggestions already adopted are almost beyond belief. Julia Steinberg has listed a few for the Free Press. Here's some of them. Most students won't learn algebra until high school. In the past, when that was expected of middle schoolers, the CMF tells us success for many students was undermined. What? This also means calculus will mostly be verboten because students can't take calculus unless they have taken a high school algebra course or mathematics 1 in middle school. Well, why not if I took algebra in 8th grade. Detracking, ending advanced courses, will be the law of the land until high school. Students will be urged to take some rich mathematics course in kindergarten through 8th grade, whatever that means. Also, letter grades will be discouraged in favor of standard-based assessments. It's not very clear what standard-based assessments are, but it sure sounds academic and harmless, right? Now, the worst of it boggles logic and reason. Here's the worst one. Lessons will foreground equity, at the expense of teaching math basics like addition and subtraction. Under the framework, the range of student backgrounds, learning differences, and perspectives taken collectively are seen as an instructional asset that can be used to launch and support all students in a deep and shared exploration of these same context and open task. And learning is not just a matter of gaining new knowledge, it is also about growth and identity development. California is about to have a bunch of stupid people, more than they already do. Now, apparently the complaint against this woman came in the heels of Boaler's publication of a study claiming students at predominantly Hispanic high school in California, which she called Railside, outperformed students at two more affluent, predominantly white schools due to reforms like heterogeneous classes. But when three math professors, including James Milgram, a fellow Stanford faculty member, analyzed the larger database Boaler had selectively cited, they found the data actually supported the opposite of Boaler's conclusion. So she's saying her methods made everything better, and then someone looked at the data and said, "You lying hoe." Shortly after the complaint was made public, Boaler left the U.S. to teach in Great Britain, where they're even more fanatical about equity. Yay! Holy shit. Oh my gosh. More recently, Brian Conrad, a professor of mathematics at Stanford, extensively documented misrepresented citations in the CMF, many of which have now been directly linked to Boaler's research. Thanks to the anonymous complaint published last week, for instance, Conrad points out that the CMF draft co-authored by Boaler cites a study that purportedly shows positive outcomes for students placed in heterogeneous classes in middle school, but the framework's authors never tell the readers that the Burris study examining the effects of teaching Algebra 1 to all 8th grade students, exactly the policy, the framework which advocates for delaying Algebra 1 until high school, argues against. Nor do the framework authors mention the fact that the intervention described in Burris included extra math workshops available to all students during the school week. So just saying a few magic words, equity, inequality, and disparate outcomes, Boaler was able to bamboozle the California Board of Education and have them adopt her curriculum. So yay! Yay! And then, and also, by the way, she sent her own kids to a $48,000 a year private school where they teach algebra in middle school. So there you go. That's perfect. And the last article, Fetterman's top 3 communication staffers have all resigned in the past month. Apparently, I don't know, maybe he was sounding as a Republican. I haven't read it yet, so you'll have to read it yourself. That's it, guys. I got to go. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Very lively in the chat today. Hello, number 1. I see you there, and JB's in the house. Oh, JB was here earlier. Anyway, I got to go. I am gone from now until Wednesday, April 10th, I believe. I'll be back April 10th. Although Lady Boomer has mentioned that she may want to stream while we're away, which is interesting. So we'll see if that happens. I do have our house sitters probably going to be on my computer anyway, so at least it'll be used for something. But hey, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful 7 days without me, or 8 days. 8 days without me, except for when we stream on the road. Well, I might stream in the mornings just from sunny Florida. I you know what? I think the first thing I want to do is I want to go down there. I'm going to get off the plane and I'm going to go like this. Smells like freedom, because Florida is so different than Minnesota. Plus, it's going to be in the 80s the entire week and sunny. I'm so happy, although I'll probably get sunburned. You know, black people sunburn too, especially light-skinned people like me. Anyway, I got to go. Thanks. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday on the Morning Night Live. Thank you. Got to go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. I'll drop those links in the chat just in a moment. See ya. Bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.